Welcome everybody. My name is Masoud Al-Rawahi. I'm the founder and CEO at PhazeRo, and it's an absolute pleasure to introduce our very own head of data science, Dr. Leila. Dr. Leila holds a bachelor's degree and master's degree in computer science and a PhD in bioinformatics. She's also a data science consultant at the UC Berkeley Amina Center, one of our partners. Thank you. Where she has designed and instructed ML courses, machine learning courses at AUM, also our partners. Thank you. Her research covers cancer tumor evolution by the Bayesian non-parametric model for inferring colonal tree based on a single cell and bulk sequencing data. I had to practice that. Even though Leila is an academic at heart and a very talented artist, she has consistently worked in industry for over 10 years at both startups and large corporations. Today is an extra special day for us. Through a lot of hard work, perseverance, and lots of coffee and tea, we've turned our dreams of launching an AI lab into reality. One of our core focuses areas is applied AI research to the life sciences broadly, with a keen focus on precision medicine. Dr. Leila will be speaking about it during her presentation. Our inaugural research is off the back of an interesting conversation we had about how do we apply, all of the learnings we've had building LLM solutions and GPT architectures that come along with it to solve challenges that don't involve chatbots and RAGs. Well, after days of seeing Leila work late at night and talking to the team, I could see them chatting on Slack very late into the night. They came back and said, we got it. We can use this underlying technology for drug discovery and repurposing. If you're as interested and your interest has peaked as mine did at the time, I can totally understand that. Well, fortunately for you, you don't have to wait nearly as long as I did to get more details on how LLMs or GPT architectures translate to drug discovery and drug repurposing, as Dr. Leila will walk us through the broad strokes of the team's research during today's talk. Well, today's talk will be broadly about practical applications of generative AI in drug discovery and healthcare innovation. She'll be helping us separate between what is hype and what is reality. And she'll have, of course, a spotlight segment on the outcomes of our very first research project. With that said, over to you, Leila.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Masoud, for the introduction. Good day, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Today, I'm excited to talk about Gen AI in drug discovery and healthcare innovation. The world of healthcare is evolving rapidly, and AI is at the forefront of this transformation. In this presentation, we will discuss how AI not only speeds up research, but also opens up new possibilities for medical breakthroughs. Also, I hope to share insight that will inform and inspire you about the future of the medicine. Let's take a moment to understand the real impact of our work by sharing a heartfelt story. This is about a little girl named Mackenzie. Mackenzie was a baby girl full of life, but she faced with a catastrophic disease called SMA. Sadly, Mackenzie's diagnosis came too late for treatment, and SMA could overcome her. SMA is a genetic condition that can have tragic outcome if not catch early. This is a powerful example of how early diagnosis and treatment can change lives. And AI can play a crucial role in preventing such tragedies. AI can help us analyze complex medical data quickly, leading to earlier diagnosis and timely treatment, potentially saving money, valuable lives like Mackenzie's. Let's understand the true value of Gen AI brings to healthcare. Let's talk about the potential. AI holds a once-in-a-century opportunity for the pharmaceutical industry. It's transforming operations from research to approval and marketing. And it has a huge economic impact. Gen AI could generate significant value for the healthcare sector, potentially unlocking billions annually. Uh, Also, personalized medicine. It's another area which is important, and Gen AI can analyze vast patient data to enable more tailored treatments, leading to better health or outcomes. And at the end, productivity gains by automating routine tasks, which Gen AI allows researchers and medical staff to focus only on the critical work like patient care. This potential is what drives the excitement around Gen AI. But to leverage Gen AI fully, we must separate this enthusiasm from what's truly achievable. Let's explore this future in our next segment on hype versus reality. While we talk about the Gen AI potential in healthcare, it's crucial to distinguish between excitement it generates and the actual result we see. There is a lot of excitement about the Gen AI, and some believes it can deliver most of the value on its own. Um, and it's plugged easy into existing systems and instantly make a huge impact. However, the reality is more complex. It requires a well established data system and teamwork. And also there is another hype, which is choosing the right language model matter. But what's more critical is how we integrate AI into our process and manage the change which it can bring to us. AI's impact on an organization is not immediate. It needs a strategic and step-by-step approach to truly transfer the work. This mirrors the pharma industry's journey with AI. The promise is a lot, potentially adding billions in value by speeding up drug discovery and other process. Beyond the numbers, AI's real value lies in its ability to improve human health. By this in mind, let's a little bit discuss about the, the, the tangible economic impact of Gen AI. Gen AI in this area. Gen AI is not just a concept, it's a powerful driver of economic values. It's expected to produce between 60 to 110 billions annually across the pharmaceutical industry. This value is not concentrated in one area, but it is spread across the entire value chain. From research, development, marketing, sales, and so on. In all of them, Gen AI is making its mark. To top these numbers and also providing more perspective about what this number means, let's move to the second slide and have a look closer to the detail. The biggest benefits that expected in this sales and it's in the sales and marketing area, which is estimated is around 80 to 30 billion dollars. This is because Gen AI can selling strategic better, make customer service more personal, and make sales process more effective. And then after that, the next area is about the research and early discovery. which we expected around 50 to 28 billion dollars will be the value of this industry. And also we will have the clinical development and enterprise operations and medical, which contains the different aspects of the Gen AI can affect the pharmaceutical industry. In this part of my presentation, I'm going to look closely at some use cases and some example of how Gen AI can make a big difference in life science. I'll explore some key areas in this field. It's important to remember that not every example I discuss will work for every company. To make these ideas work, a company must have already started using digital tools in some way. So as we go through each cases, please think about how digitalization is shaping possibilities and whether this can be applied to the other situation. Let's start with the first life science domain and see how it's set to change with this advancement. Clinical development. We talk about the clinical development. This is the step where new treatments move from laboratory bench to the patient bedside. It's all about making sure that the new medicine is safe and works as intended by testing it with the real people. Remember, this is a very important phase because it's the first time the treatment is used in human, and we need to be very sure it was safe and effective. On average, it takes around 10 years, and with the cost of 1.0 billion in out of pocket of the cost of bringing a single drug to the market. Most of this money, around 80%, is spent on clinical development. That's the stage where we test the drug on humans to ensure it's safe and effective. And it's expensive because it takes a lot of time, people, resources to conduct this test properly. The purpose is long. The process actually of this clinical development is long and complex, but it's necessary to make sure that the medicine we bring to the market are safe and everyone can use it. We explore some use cases for the clinical development, which Gen AI can bring. One of them is about having the co-pilot. Actually, the co-pilot can help to improve the clinical trials, making them faster and most cost-effective. Imagine Gen AI as a smart assist that shifts through a huge amount of data to find valuable insight. It's like having a super intelligent partner that can point out what you should focus on to make clinical trial better. Top pharmaceutical companies are using what's called clinical control towers. These are advanced systems that use AI to help make important decisions during clinical trials by bringing all the information together in one place. Also, the other aspects is about having the conversational AI. It can be used, for example, to talk to the team, help them to summarize their readings, considering the different data which is available in the lab, and by this assist, it can help to the team to understand the problem in hand better. The next item is about a smart alert. Actually, it sends warning and advice early on, so teams can fix the problem before they become a bigger issue. And also, Lastly, for the preparation of the trial, documentation, and report, Gen AI refines the process. It automates drafting the document that are tailored for each trial. And what's the result? Actually, we are, oh my God. I believe my laptop is freeze. It wasn't the best time for that.
One solution could be, am I able to share my screen?
Um,
I may be able to share my screen, and then I'll change slide.
let's see. Do okay.
All set on your slide, Leila, or perhaps I could even share on my side and then talk.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I believe no, the problem is in this always switch. And can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Perfect. All set. Yeah, and sorry for interrupt. Shouldn't happen, but sometimes it happens. And yeah, I was saying, and what is the result? What is the result of having a co-pilot? We are seeing up to have 20% saving in cost and getting people signed up for trial 10 to 20% faster. As we go through, think of Gen AI not just a technology, but as a team member who is always there to help guide the clinical trial to success. The next use cases that I want to talk about is about the smart data management. Today is a highly, actually the data management, it's a very intensive labor work requiring manual trial by trial configuration of electronic data capture system, as well as detailed review and reconciliation of the incoming patient data. By combining traditional and Gen AI capabilities, data management can be automated across multiple steps. Database can be created with one click based on the protocol, and the case report form can be auto-generated based on the protocol and patient profile and the visit type. And also the data can then be reviewed and automatically cleaned in real time, which will unlock a lot of value. And the estimation is, as you can see, the estimation for each step that I mentioned, it's presented here, how many improvement it can provide in each aspect. The next use case is, as you know, for submitting a new medicine or new drug, a lot of document work it's needed. And it's really important that these documents, documentation will be writing accurately as possible to achieve or accelerate the launch time run. Yet, drafting the clinical study report typically required months to be complete. Therefore, Gen AI based tools can cut this time almost in half by generating of 80% right first draft from the underlying protocol. A statistical analysis plan and tables, listing, figures, and all of them can be done by having a trained and customized Gen AI model. As you can see the impact and the potential impact that it can bring to the clinical development. Let's explore the next use cases, which is research and early data discovery. Actually, I want to turn your attention to the remarkable ways that Gen AI is accelerating the drug discovery process, promising to bring to new treatment to market faster and more efficiently. The traditional drug development process is lengthy and costly, as you can see here. The process takes from 1 to up to 3 years, and with this amount of the $1 million just from the target discovery up to having some compound which can be tested in the laboratory. In this slide, I would like to talk more about how Gen AI can help in the different aspects from target identification to clinical step. Actually, Gen AI is transforming the task of hypothesis generation. Which means which is what is the best target and what is according to the different data sources, which target is good that we have our attention for that, and it can be a potential drug for us later on. And also in the target identification, AI uses a knowledge graph to combine diverse data set, generating novel hypotheses for large molecules such as proteins needed for vaccines and so on. And then validating target and identifying the hints, the different model of Gen AI can help us to analyzing the different kind of data that we have here, which even can be the different images that we may have. Moving to hit identification, it's more than doubling the effectively observed index experimental compound and allowing over 100 times and speeding up the design for the drug delivery. And the last is the preclinical phase. Gen AI is a powerful tool for rapidly identifying new uses for existing drugs and prioritizing indications for novel drugs, thereby fast tracking the delivery of the new treatment to the patient. Now, let's zoom into the target identification. Gen AI, the reason that I would like to start from this, it's about the work that we are doing in our new established AI lab, as Masoud mentioned. And part of the work that we are doing in our AI lab, it's about the drug target interaction prediction. And also the new outcome of this lab is the paper named Prod Context DTA, and it is submitted and accepted for presenting and publishing to the known conference of this domain, which is ICC-BT. I would like to explain more about what we have done in this research work. by considering that it's a very important part of the Gen AI can support for drug target prediction. Actually, as you may know, the drug target interaction prediction is about finding the best drug for the protein. And it can be done by considering, by finding the amount of the binding affinity value of this drug and the protein. Here, in this part of the image, you can see the 3D shape of a simple protein, and also here you can see the molecule of the drug. And the idea is we will find the best drug which can be fit with this protein to make the action of this protein better, and it just will be attached to the protein that it's designed for that, not for the other protein and the other part of the body, which may cause the side effect of the disease. For a little bit, give a sense that how this drug can be attached to this protein. I have provided, I have brought animation which it's developed by a known company in this domain. As you can see here, this is the molecule of the protein, and here there is the drug. And this drug should be attached by the different way that two molecules can be attached together. It can be a covalency connection, or the different kind of connection that these two can be attached together. And it will help the protein to act better or resolve the issue in the protein which cause the disease in the people. I believe the video is cutting off, or yeah. And what we have done, as I mentioned, what we have done in this research work, we first of all, we have provided a new representation for the protein based on the large language model, which is called the protein BERT here. But what does it mean? For example, let's imagine you are facing with a large language model, and the large language model are able to predict the next word based on the context that you provided until now to the large language model. For example, attention is not to. There are some words that this word can be most likely the next word after having this chain of the words. And there are some other words like cats, road, and so on, which is unlikely to be the next word. Same as here, when we are about when we talk about a protein, actually we talk about a giant a string of alphabet, which you can see here. They can be translated to the protein structure can be translated to the alphabet. Therefore, we are facing with the word. Consider each of these alphabet, it's a word for us. And we want to know what is the most probably the next word when we are talking when we are working with the sequence of the protein. But why this matter? Imagine the drug, it's a prompt that you submit this prompt for a large language model. And the string of the protein for you is the knowledge base that you have. And you want to find some part of this protein and some part of this knowledge base. It's very match with the prompt that you are submitting and with the drug. Here, in the context of the drug target prediction, the prompt, it's the drug. Therefore, this protein should be translated to the embeddings like the words in the large language model and also the prompts as well. By having the similarity check, the best fit for this drug to be matched to the protein can be found. Here you can see how this protein sequence converted to the numbers, and which you can consider this as an embedding in the large language model. After providing this new representation for the protein, we have designed a new architecture by getting inspired by the paper, the Google paper of attention. It's all you need. And we have designed our new architecture, which had three different input. The first one was about the drug information sequence, and the second one was about the protein sequence. And the last one is about this new representation that we have designed conceptually based on the protein sequence. In all comparison of our model with the others, our model got the better performance, which can be found in our paper as well. What was the practical implication of our work? Actually, by the power of the Gen AI to predict the drug target interaction, it can help to predict the drug and the target more accurately, and also reduce the risk of the side effect or having a drug to be attached in the protein of the body that we don't want it. And also, as I mentioned, testing the many protein, many drug, and searching in the space of the protein and the repurposing drug in this way, it's very quicker and effectively, which reduce the cost of the target identification as well. And at the end, actually, by having this approach operationally, the process of having the different target and candidates for our trial test will be increased and accelerate. This is all I had for today's presentation. As a conclusion, I wanted to mention this isn't just about starting with the isolated project. We are talking about a complete shift in the pharmaceutical industry. Therefore, there are many steps that is happening present, and how the work is doing right now and should be changed in the future by having the Gen AI. And if it's not be considered by the companies, the future won't be for them. Thank you for your time and attention. I'm here to answer your question.
Thank you, Dr. Leila. Now for the Q&A session, please raise your hand if you have a question, and I will allow you to turn on your mic to ask your question. Go ahead.
Hello, hi, this is Krishnendu. Am I audible?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
Firstly, thank you for its brilliant presentation. And in fact, we are kind of working on the similar domain to find out the Morgan fingerprint for specific drug molecules based on the IC50 data. So, my question is, what are the LLM models you have used? Is there any specific ANN models you have created separately, or is it some existing model that you have used for this drug discovery purpose? Because we used a Kiera's model, not inventing something from the scratch. So for your case, is it some existing model, or is it a new complete ANN model you have created?
Very good question. Actually, in our case, we already used the protein BERT, which could help us to understand the frequency of the words and creating our new representation. But we have provided a new architecture which make us able to consider this new input for our affinity prediction value.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Going to the next one. We're going to go through the questions with people raising their hands, and then we will move to the questions in the chat as well. Go ahead, Nihad.
Oh, thank you very much. Brilliant presentation. I think you sort of undersold it, but the idea of using the sequence into protein as effectively an attention mechanism. So that was your key query and value. That's really, really clever. I think you've done some incredible engineering that way. My question is, and it's probably in the chat too, is related to like the context window of the BERT model you use. Does that limit the sequence length of the protein that you're allowed to analyze in this case?
We have used the 1K for our protein sequence limits.
Thank you.
Hopefully, our paper will be published soon, later than May, and it will be available to read about the different parameters that we have used and also the detail of the model. You are working to make the code public as well, which can help to the rest of the people to continue this work.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move to the next question with Paul. You may go ahead. Paul, I'm not sure if you're speaking. We cannot hear you. Right, perhaps while Paul is sorting out the audio issue, we can go to one of the questions in the chat. I believe, Nihad, you've already asked this question. And we're waiting for Paul. We have a question from Harry. For an AI student, what skills would you recommend to get in the pharma industry? Any certification or projects would you recommend?
A very good question. And the pharmaceutical industry is a very wide industry. I try to cover the different use cases to show about how much this area is wide and has the different aspects. But I believe there are some aspects has the most attention recently, and one of them is about drug discovery and early research work. For starting as a person with the AI background you mentioned, With the AI background, I would recommend to know about the basic of the bioinformatics, know about the genes, and also study some about the omics. And after that, I believe knowing more about the proteins, 3D shape, um, can be useful, and you will be able to start working on the drug discovery domain and searching and learning more in this domain.
Perfect. Hope that answers your question. While Paul, again, if you're still working on the audio, let's move to another question. We have another question from an anonymous attendee. How can generative AI help industries keep track of regulations imposed by pharmaceutical bodies like FDA, EMA, etc., given these are very dynamic in nature?
Yeah, actually, it's a very good question, and this is the part I already mentioned. The co-pilot can help because all of this work it's a test takes heavily work, and if Gen AI model will be trained on this information, the different policies of the FDA and so on. And by considering the different steps that should be considered for putting out a drug to the industries, I believe that the co-pilot and having a trained model on this heavily document-based data set can be useful here.
Thank you, Dr. Leila. Hope that answered your question. Now, going back to you, Paul, if there are still issues with audio, perhaps, typing them would help. So let's wait for a minute. In the meantime, if anyone else has any questions, feel free to just raise your hand or type it in the chat, and I will give you the ability to talk as well.
Thanks for unmuting me. I was wondering if you're able to use the embedding space to sort of go back and kind of find like unique clusters in the embedding space and then go back to the protein space and relabel those to see if there is a unique structure or something that just arises by, I don't know, clustering the protein sequence that way.
We haven't done this, but this is some part that we considered do it in our next research work. It's a great idea to work on the embeddings and also have this cycle completed. Yeah, it's a brilliant idea, and we will consider that in our next research work.
Was there at all a clustering of the drug structure itself in like a unique way that was surprising for you, where you said, "Oh, it seems to understand how to cluster, a set of classes of drugs in this way, but then other set of drug molecules in another way." It'd be really interesting to look at like what is it really thinking of these molecules? Like how is it translating that?
Yeah, exactly. It can extract the knowledge that it's not be extracted easily, and having all those data as the embeddings and doing the clustering work on those embeddings can generate a lot of insight. I believe this is the area that this, doesn't work a lot, and it can be considered perfectly.
Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. We have a question from Paul. What you and your team have done with masked language modeling in your research work and how MLM helped? Any quick examples?
Yeah, actually, what we have done, we have masked some parts of the protein, and let me reshare my screen. You can see my screen now.
Yes, we can.
For some reason, it's blocked. Yeah. Actually, let's consider what the mask happened, what we have done with the mask here. Let's imagine we mask some parts of the amino acid, and we try to understand which kind of amino acid can be here by considering the 100 amino acid before and the 100 amino acid after this mask area. The mask area here for us was about the 50 amino acid, and we try to predict this area. And what we have, how we have done this, we have used the protein bird, and we consider the highest the highest frequency of the amino acid can be present, for example, in this position, and same for the next, and so on. But why it's important? Because as you know, when it comes to the 3D shape of the protein, what makes the 3D shape of the protein be as the shape that currently we are saying, it's about the preserved area of this protein. Not the parts may change in the different protein, but the preserved area of each protein sequence. It's important, and it can help to form the 3D shape of the protein, the action of the protein, and also the identity of the protein. And by having the mask area and finding the amino acid which can fill this mask area with most probably based on the protein bird, it can help to kind of consider this the shape of the protein in our modeling, which we have used it here. Therefore, by considering the sequence for the drug for the protein, here the new input that we are considering has this conceptual meaning of the protein. As you know, the project of the AlphaFold is a very expensive project, and still it's not accurate enough for predicting the 3D shape of the protein. But by considering the new input that we consider here and finding the preserved area of the protein, it can help the model to approach to the target that the 3D shape of the protein to be considered in the model in the affinity prediction work as well. I hope I could answer your question. There are many details and background that I should share as well. Please let me know if you could get the answer.
Sorry, I'm going to ask because I have the mic on still. Any idea how that sort of protein prediction would change if you had used like a GPT-like model, like an autoregressive model, as opposed to like an encoder model like BERT?
Sorry, would you please repeat again your question? I didn't get you.
Yeah. Like you use BERT in this case, which is an encoder-only model. Any idea how this would like be different if you had used like a GPT-like model that instead of like doing predict the sequence in the middle, you basically predict the next token and predict the next sequence and so forth. I wonder. I'm just trying to think out loud, like what that looked like. But I think because you're trying to generate empathy, I think BERT is probably the more appropriate choice.
Your question is the protein pairs and the large language model here is mainly used for predicting the next amino acid, finding the preserved area. And is there any other area that the large language model can be useful?
Yeah, no, my point is, yeah, like here you're trying to find that preserved area. What if you try to do out like a prediction where you have a starting sequence, and then you try to figure out what that preserved area might look like if you were to predict it, instead of like from a sequence generation point of view as opposed to a masking point of view. It's not a question. It's just a thought. I apologize.
Yeah, I got your point, I believe. Yeah, I believe it can be another area to investigate. Right now, as you mentioned, we considering having this information as a conceptual representation of the protein. But there are many other aspects can be explored later to see how the model can perform better. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you. We have one other question from Paul. Since LLM hallucinates randomly but predicts or stays very convincing ways, won't it be risky for bioinformatics research without evaluation in place?
We never provide an algorithm without evaluation. And also the large language model that we are talking in this domain, it's mostly trained on the bioinformatics data. Sir, if you are talking about the drug discovery large language model and the large language model that protein bear, which are using for the protein data, I believe this is not the issue. But if you are talking about the different aspects that we have, for example, as I mentioned, for providing the clinical documentation, for writing the heavily documented, which is needed for FDA approval, or this kind of stuff. I believe it's really important to have a strong prompt chain and also validation for that. To make sure that no rules can be missed in providing those documentation. And as I mentioned in the presentation, the goal is not to write a documentation and with the Gen AI and provide it to the FDA and the other organization for approval. It's about drafting a document with the 80% accuracy. And this is something that 20% still is remain for human to review and check the accuracy to be matched with the different rules, which is important and should be considered.
Perfect. Thank you, Dr. Leila. One more question we have from Dr. Yahya. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to thank you, Dr. Leila and PhazeRo, on behalf of UC Berkeley and the American University of the Middle East. I appreciate organizing this series, and very nice talk, Leila. And just let you know that we will have the next webinar series in the large language models after Ramadan, and we will announce it with help of our colleagues and friends at the PhazeRo. I again appreciate all your support and effort, PhazeRo and Dr. Leila. Very nice talk. And okay, so yeah, take care and Good luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Yahya, for your support, and also Dr. Karar for support from the AUM University. I believe I should hand over to Masood.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for coming. I really appreciate the attendance, enthusiasm, and the engagement. Thank you, Dr. Yahya. Thank you, Dr. Clara. Of course, thank you to our lovely team, and in particular for this event, Dr. Leila. You know, one thing we've been talking about is the kind of the general enthusiasm around the kind of let's say application-based LLMs, and we've been working in this space for some time, both in the life sciences domain and industry. And so one thing just I would like to announce is that we will be kind of releasing a little course. It'll be very application-based, and so please stay tuned. We'll make announcements. We've kept an eye on those of you who've attended, so definitely we'll aim to reach out as soon as it's available. And yeah, that's all I have to share. And once again, thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, and evening.
Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us.